Hey everyone, I'm here at the Shed Builds in our lovely Fremantle. Behind me you can see the port, so we are right on the wharf of the river. Behind me is some of the amazing creations that have come along. We also got West Australian Brick Society who have come along providing big building and track racing. And of course, I'm here with the Great Ball Contraption area. So it's been, 5 of us come along today. We've got 40 or so modules on the table. So let's turn the camera around and have a look at what. All right, so we start the loop with a serpentine prototype I've been working on. One of these years, I might have some instructions out for it. What's really clever about it is it's actually designed to be modular, so you can build little sections and just build it as tall as you want. We're then into a Mako stepper with, of course, the shared power drive there, or just down the bottom there. You can just see the axle running between the two. That then feeds into a Hoken module, which is a 4-bar mechanism. We can see it lifting the balls up into the next module. We've got a couple of Great Ball Pit modules here. This is the Solaire on the left and the Whirligig on the right, lifting the balls up. Then into a really simple chain lift. This is actually part of my up and down mechanism. It's actually designed to drop the balls down into a kids area and then lift them back up again, but I'm just using it kind of to bridge the gap here. Of course, we've got the Rickfield mine module in the background. Nothing actually wrong with the module, it was just spare to today's layout. Looks like, here we go, here's a few more balls coming through. So, we're then into this gear lift module. And see, I really like the way this one works in that it comes down and the balls will actually sit in the top and get lifted up by the quarter segments at the end. Actually, there's a few new sides of this out, so in theory someone could build a really compact version of this. Then into a Ramps Oscillante. And yeah, another one of those modules that's just a really nifty look. Give me a little finicky to get set up, but once it's set up, it just ticks over beautifully. Then into this cool sweeper module. I really like the way the input ramp works on this one. And that'll actually, so a few balls will come through and then it'll lift them up. So what you then get walking up the sweeps is you get a whole line of balls slowly sweeping up. There we go, sweep. Yeah, really cool. Then into a little compact sidewinder module. So this is a clever use of the chain where it's sort of, and the pins on the side lifting up, moving around. And then into our Akiyuki train. So we'll wait for a train to come back. This of course is powered entirely by the train carriages, so it's now powering the conveyor into the little train cart. Whoop. And we'll chase this little one around and it'll sit in the crossover. And it's just waiting for the other cart to empty and come back, and we'll get to see that very soon. And here it is coming back. Get to the switch and away. Woo! On the lift, it's interesting, like they have these big, what look like counterweights on the side, but they're actually just for show. I believe they don't do any counterweighting anymore. And this, of course, is the rotating, the rotary dumper. Getting prompts from behind the scenes there because I'm having a mind block. Yeah, I really love this one because it's an example of what you will see in the real world. Mining companies do literally turn entire cars over, as it's simpler than trying to integrate a complex mechanism into the car itself. And there we go, cool. From there, we're into a whole series of modules whose names I forget, unless the builder tells them to me.
Fork conveyor.
The which?
Fork conveyor.
The fork conveyor. All right, so this is the fork conveyor. So this is quite neat in the way it works, and I'll just throw a ball in there so we can see. So it actually picks them up, and it's the little bit of friction between the arms and that stud, and then it comes down the bottom and it'll rotate up and around, and then it just gets bumped out up here at the top. We're then into a Sawyer scissor lift, and the name comes from the scissor-like action that it's doing. And this actually, each ball will drop in and clamp and then be lifted up to the top. We're then into a lift. This is Akiyuki, right? Yeah.
This is actually a berthel module called
And
staggered
I'm sure
lift.
someone will correct me on the actual name of it. But a very clever tilt lift module. There you go. See the balls just slowly tilting up to the top. From there we come down after the little spiral output there, which is pretty cool. We come into a brickwork ball pump. That's been nicely ticking along all show. And then we're into a little stepper lift. Oh, this is cool. I don't remember seeing this one at the last show. I feel like this one's new for this show. So this is cool, and it looks like the timing's just right. The ball was just right out there. It's a bit like a rainbow wave, but it's a rainbow lift. And if we come down the bottom, let me get this fence out of the way, you can see all these little pistons. Look at that go. Amazing. All right. Our next box along is, of course, another Rams Oscillante. And we'll just wait for a couple of balls to go across this one. Hey, there we go. And then, of course, into six heads. And this one's been ticking over great all show. There we go, lifting it up. And six heads, of course. Let's see if I can get in close. Someone was asking me how this one ejects, and it's really clever. Actually, they have little tongues in each head. And so there's friction at one end that holds the ball, and as it comes over, the little tongue just gets knocked and it pushes the ball out. We're now into a Brickweld stackable module. This, of course, if you search some of the Beyond the Brick videos, you'll find a version of this that just goes up and up and up. Very amazing module. I believe there was a big argument at the time about whether it was one module or many, because technically a module is standard to standard, and we'll see a bit more of why I talked about that later in the loop. We're now into a yet to be named module, but I'm calling it a flicker module. Had some improvements since the last show. We've got a nice little drain tray down here. This whole section is has a lot of shooters. This builder has a real passion for shooters. I've suggested you invest in a drain system because shooters are a very leaky module. We are, of course, into now the Dunes variant of the Tom Atkinson's perpetual prototype. And his main improvement, he simplified the design a lot, but it's this bringing this really nice stiff structural frame through it, which simplified a lot of the lift arm work that Tom had built into his. Yeah, cool. We're then into, where are we? This is a Hull Millington's pusher upper from memory. This is a really neat little module. I have built this one myself. If you are going to invest in it, you need a lot of lift arms, but it does mean you can do some really cool stuff with colour with this module because there's so many lift arms in it. This one has an interesting little mod on it. See this lucky band here? And I tend to agree that this just helps to make the module just that little bit more reliable. And sometimes, you know, the more you run a module at a show, the more you find things wear, and it actually changes behaviour. The module you build on day one is not going to be the same module after 40 hours of running at shows. So you tend to find, you know, little things like this just make it that much more reliable and help you sort of run for another 40 to 100 hours. We have, I think this is another, which builder is this? This is a Jude design module. Very good. Another original build. Of course, got some integrated draining in here. So this is really cool. I like the way, so it's going to lift the balls up, and they drop in these little cups, and then come up to the side, and then get kicked out into the next module. The next one along is, of course, actually, before we go on to the next one, let's have a look at this timing. This, although I know it works, this breaks my brain, this kind of stuff. This way this gear delay timing works. I've seen it used on quite a few different modules as a way of creating delay, but still gets me every time. So certainly, like, if you're looking to create this kind of stepped approach, having a gear mechanism like this will help this, but it needs lots of bracing because you're creating very interesting relationships between gears here. All right, we're now into Archimedes screw, aptly named because these quarter circles have been wrapped round and round and around into a screw pattern. So the balls slowly lift up, and if we look down the middle, we can see a whole bunch of balls coming up through the middle. From there, we're into another sweeper module. I should have waited for some balls. There we go. So that's going to slowly sweep the balls up. into another one of the Brickwell, the sawtooth, Brickwell sawtooth motor. Really nice use of the rainbow up the middle on this one. We're then into the hamster wheel. So the balls come in through the bottom and then they get scooped up and dropped on the ramp. And then that then takes them into the next module. As you would have seen in a couple of my videos, we've got the tilt left, tilt shift. I really should write a cue card for all the names of these, or maybe just get the builders to put cue cards in front of them. All right, once again, another one of my favorites, just because of the way it uses inertia to lift the balls up the slope. And then we can see from the side that there is quite a slope to this, and it does leap up. Cool, all right, on to another new build for the table. I believe this is a John Sherman design module. Very lovely chap. He's up in the, where are we? The northwestern part of the US continent. Comes up with a lot of amazing designs. And this one is no exception to the rule. So we see the balls, actually, let's see if I can get a good angle for this. So we've got a couple of sweeper arms. And when we get balls up each side, it'll actually, there we go. We've got one up each side. So the balls are slowly getting swept up and over these radiuses into the next module, and it just lifts them up and up and up. Very clever module. Cool. Now into another Matt Norm module. This is his WMO1 off the top of my head, Workshop Module 01. Very quick and easy to build chain lift module. Certainly worth a look if you're just getting started in GBC. Then into a micro module. This is a C build. So this is an old Lego fire truck that has, so this is a GBC module made entirely from a Lego set. In this case, it used to be a fire truck. Unfortunately, the set's a couple of years old now, so finding that set is probably a tad tricky. Into another one of Miko's modules. This, of course, is his stepper that will go and go forever. The only mod I would suggest making on his original instructions is either adding something like this, which is a little 1x2 long lift arm, just steadies this up, or Mako himself actually on later designs just put a lift arm across the whole thing and just makes these panels a lot more secure. We're now into a pick module. So this is picking the balls up using a little scissor action. I'll just come around the side and we can see it picking up a ball and dropping it into the next module. Oh, we can, there we go. There, of course, into an extended Brickwell ball pump. And so that's going to pump the balls up through the middle, and then they're going to pop out of the top. And this is where we get into the concept of counting modules. So, a module, one module is any ball path that goes from standard to standard. So let's come back here. So this is Miko's module. The input is standard and it lifts balls out into a next module which is standard. So if we come and look at this module, we've got a module that lifts it up, but this input's way over standard. So even though it looks like an input, it's not an input. And then we come along and we come along. Oh, and we get to another one. I go, all right, this is another one. Oh, but wait a second. This is below 10, so this output's not standard. So this is lifting it back up to a height that would meet a standard input. So this is where we go, when we're counting modules, it gets tricky because we go, okay, so technically one is from here all the way through to the output here, and that's one module. One of the things is like sometimes it doesn't, anyway, I digress on what one is. So this is a really cool module. I'm really excited about where this is going to go. This has actually got a little truck. The truck's not on today. It's very much in the prototype phase, but the general gist behind it is that the truck will lift balls up into the next module. So very excited to see the future of that one. It just gave me a good opportunity to rant about what is one. All right, we are into, of course, the inaugural Brickwell Workshop module, chain lift. Super solid, easy to build, and runs forever. We're into their little, I can't remember the name of this, another Brickwell module, the little stepper module, not stepper, yeah, I can't remember the name. Sorry? 2017. What was this called? It's the 2017 Brickworld Workshop module. We're then into the inaugural Brick Fair Workshop module. This is a stepper module, super rock solid. If you're looking for something that just pumps out at 1 ball per second, will run for almost ever, except for motors dying. This is another one of those kind of modules. Into the Rainbow Wave now. And once again, you know, with the help of good old silicon, this module is running amazingly well, and everyone who has come in over the weekend has just loved this module. It's absolutely enchanting to watch. Love it. All right, and that leads me back to my crane, which has been the leakiest it's ever been. And the reason for that is that giant fan in the background. So because it's been so hot, we've had some big fans around here blowing stuff around. And I'll see if I can, let's come around here and we'll just see if we can get this crane in the camera. There you go. It's a bit difficult to see on camera. The whole top of the crane has been waving because of the fan moving about, it's about 20 mil from side to side, which means the balls have been varying quite a bit in their drop. So it's been really interesting to see the crane moving, and it's been its most leaky it's ever been. But it's been a really cool show, definitely on the small side. We'll be back again next year in 2023. I believe they're going to move it to April to make it a lot less hot for us to get to. So I'm really looking forward to that show. I hope you've enjoyed the walk around. Not too much ranting in there, and I look forward to making more videos. Thank you.